It's July 5th. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. It's 2021. I am your grumpy guy to all things gaming, and a special thank you to all the patriotic muscle boys and drunk girls last night who wanted to celebrate the 4th of July. Can't tell you how much each and every one of us appreciate the fireworks, the yelling, the screaming, the gunshots, the crashing cars, the throwing glass bottles, the terrified children and terrified animals. What a great way to celebrate summer, guys, in the middle of a heat wave and a forest fire warning. Thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, and for those of us who suffer from PTS and lived in fear last night, well, that's our own fault, right? Thank you for the fireworks. Thank you for the explosions. Thank you for throwing M80s in the trash can. Thank you for all the dogs and cats that ran away last night. Just, wow, what a great way to start the summer, guys. Just love you so much. Obviously, that was sarcasm because it's Monday, and it's time for the news. And I am your sarcastic prick, the OGGM, and if you don't appreciate my content, I don't really fucking care after last night. All right, let's see what's going on in the world that does not relate in any way, shape, or form to TSR. Because I'm sure there's something going on in the gaming news that isn't TSR related, right? I mean, somebody must have released something or done something important, right? Right? All right, so EM Publishing has once again released a whole bunch of stuff. They've got some puzzles out. They've got some new pages out. They've got some spells out, all to support their upcoming Level Up 5e thingy. Of course, again, guys, at this point in time, there is no reason for me to buy Level Up 5e because you've made pretty much every single page available online through your website. I know this makes sense somehow. I don't see how it makes sense, but it makes sense to you guys, so whatever. I hope you are successful, but I really just don't see it. What else? And that's, yeah, then we have TSR did stuff during the week. We're going to try and avoid that at all possible. The Adventures for the Forgotten Realms adventure is up. I posted a little bit about it earlier this week. So this is the first of the tie-ins to the Magic the Gathering Adventures in the Forgotten Realms thing. It features some wizards from the, Red Wizards of Thay, who are my favorite D&D Forgotten Realms bad guys. We have some more pictures of the cards and some other stuff's coming out. And we'll see what happens. This will be interesting. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. But I skimmed through it and it looked fun. Basically, Red Wizards are up to their usual Red Wizard shenanigans, and you try and stopping them. And in the process, you uncover something relating to an individual who can travel the planes. And probably one of the earliest pre-order time frames we've ever heard of. Of course, the mighty Marvel Multiverse role-playing game playtest rules are available for pre-order for now, even though they won't be available for sale until March 29th of 2020. So you can order the 104-page soft cover playtest book now, receive it in March next year, playtest it for a year, and then the product will go out in print sometime in 2023. That is ambitious. Whether this is a good idea or a bad idea, I mean, you can't go wrong with that much playtest time, right? Monte Cook Games has released a free preview for their new upcoming Numenaria sourcebook, Verticus, this week. Contains 13 pages of interesting stuff set in the Numeria world. So if you're interested in the Numeria world and Monte Cook, that's something new. We have from DCC, Dungeon Crawl Classics. They are crowdfunding an effort to adapt Jack Vance's novel series, The Dying Earth, to a role-playing game. Head on over to Aaron the Pendactic's website, vlog, because he is a big Dungeon Crawl Classic fan, and he is following this. I appreciate Dungeon Crawl Classic. It's really fun, but it's way too overcomplicated. I mean, I love random tables as much as the next guy, but wow. Artisolian Games has announced a slew of updates for Cyberpunk Red role-playing game. So I guess we have some editing stuff and some core rulebook errata and the usual other stuff, some new art. Yes, always good to see my buddy It's over at Artisolian doing stuff. Because remember, you know that Mike Pouncemouth guy. And that's, sadly, if I ignore the TSR thing, that is it. So we'll take a moment now for anybody who wants to walk away before we address the latest TSR issue. Support me, Red Bull. Okay, if you're still here, that means you want to hear me talk about TSR. God, fucking damn, screw me with a horse. And I'm running out of words. I am literally running out of words. This has entered a whole new realm of just what the fuckery. And I just want to say right now, I am not on any side with this. I think everybody involved in both TSR Pro, TSR Against, everybody has just gotten way blown, way out of proportion. And this is just stupid, and it's not helping anybody. And really, so yeah, there's TSR stuff going on. And apparently the latest thing is that now, as we have mentioned earlier, several game companies and are pushing themselves away from TSR because of the perceived slights that TSR has made. TSR response is, of course, backing down and circling the wagons and not refusing to budge on the statements. Gen Con has announced that they are banning TSR, and of course I'm referring to the new TSR, which is basically just, I think, two guys from Gen Con, because I guess they want to keep the I don't know who happy in this. And of course, now in response to Gen Con saying we're banning TSR from Gen Con, several individuals are starting a grassroots movement to boycott Gen Con. So Gen Con boycotts TSR. In response, people are now wanting to boycott Gen Con simply because they're boycotting TSR because of what it is they think TSR may or may not have done, and rather than, actually do anything, we're now boycotting Gen Con. And now there's a group of individuals who are coming forward who are boycotting the individuals who are boycotting Gen Con. But they're all, and this guy's angry at this guy, and this guy's angry at this guy, and this guy's angry at this guy, and they're all just, masturbating their anger out onto the web and Twitter, and it's just a horrible cacophony of disastrous proportions which nobody wins. Now, in a perfect world, the convention would be the perfect place to create an open format where the parties involved could sit down, possibly with a neutral third-party moderator, and discuss the situation and see if there's a way we could come out of this ahead, repair the damage, and move the industry forward in a positive light. In a perfect world, there wouldn't be things like banning and boycotts and Twitter and hate and death threats. We would talk about this like adults. But this isn't a perfect world, and we all stopped being adults a long time ago. This, of course, reminds me of a statement I've made repeatedly. How is it that I can work with a group of 4-year-olds, and they are better at negotiating issues like this than us supposedly educated adults? Because all this is over a game. Let us not forget that all this boils down to a game. A game. Playing a game. Now, when a group of 4-year-olds are playing a game and they disagree, they work it out. Maybe there's some angry, maybe somebody bites somebody, maybe somebody cries, but then a few seconds later, they hug and things move on. 5-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 3-year-olds work things out in their own weird way because at the end of the day, they just want to play. Us adults apparently have forgotten how to do that because we're a bunch of fucking idiots who shoot fireworks at dogs at 3 o'clock in the morning. So rather than using Gen Con as a place to have an open discussion regarding all these issues, and maybe there's a way to, turn this around before it becomes even worse than it really is, Gen Con is avoiding TSR. TSR is refusing to apologize and circling its wagons even further. People are talking about boycotting Gen Con. People are talking about boycotting the people who are boycotting Gen Con. There are death threats and blah, 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 blah. Governor Tarkin, the more you tighten your fingers, the more systems will slip through the fist. More groups. Nobody wins this. Nobody wins this bullshit game we're all playing. It just means more and more splinter groups, more and more people just, not wanting to talk to each other, not wanting to make the hobby an open, welcome place, and just, this little group games over here and creates their own little thing and thinks everybody else is a bunch of fuck-offs. This little group over here creates their own little things and just thinks everybody else is there, just a little fuck-offs. It kind of reminds me of high school. Now I know you're all going to say OGGM doesn't know what he's talking about, and OGGM should shut the fuck up, and OGGM this, and OGGM that, and fuck you OGGM, and I don't really fucking care anymore. You've ruined this hobby over this TSR thing. I mean, it started 2 years ago with this woke Wizards of the Coast racism bullshit, but this has just reached new levels of ridiculousness that this is the #1 topic of the gaming news. TSR. So fuck you, TSR, for starting this, and fuck the rest of us for following along. I am your grumpy guide to all things gaming. If you appreciate this content, let me know. If you don't appreciate this content, I don't really care. Subscribe, don't subscribe, unsubscribe. I have lost all hope in you whatsoever. I'll talk to you later.